Hey guys, welcome back to Love Is Waiting. It's me, Mimi Maraschino, and I wanted to talk to you today about happiness being a conscious but necessary choice. I think growing up, when you've been conditioned into a lot of disappointment or being told a lot of negative things about yourself, you think that happiness is a faraway, fake place and you can lose it at any given moment, right? I remember a couple years ago telling someone, my life feels like a collection of brief happy moments that are overflooded with this constant state of sadness that will always catch up to me, or something like that. Like, my life always feels out of control and up and down, right? No matter what I do. And I'm here to tell you that happiness is a conscious but necessary choice. You deserve to be happy. I am now in a state where I am constantly happy. Like, it's like reverse. Like, I have this overwhelming ocean of happiness with brief moments of chaos and sadness, which you guys have seen a little bit into. You know what I mean? But we exist in a consciousness soup. You can essentially become anything in this consciousness soup. Everything is ephemeral. It's giving you 12 English. It's giving literally any piece of art ever, any piece of English, whack, ephemeral on it. But it's true. Life is like that. It's up and down, in and out. All right. Elements, pieces of furniture, traits, characteristics, animals, species, stars, anything. And you can become more or less like anything in there. And that includes sadness and happiness, right? In a lot of spirituality, when they tell you to pray to a god or invoke a god or work with a god, you could, there's debate on whether these things actually exist, hot topic, or you're invoking that part of your own consciousness. Like, people can pray to Hermione Granger, for example, or pray to a banana. Like, you can become more or less of anything. Even dust. If it's your desire to become more like dust, for example, I guess more calm in its environment, more settled, more... I don't know, what other traits of dust? Girl, what the fuck is dust meant to teach us? I'm sticky. I am stick. What's that Jess Mound Boy song? I'm inescapable, like a song in your head, like that. Maybe if you're trying to, I'm not saying you do this, but if you're trying to get in your crush's head and you want to be more like that, you could be like, I want to be more like dust. I'll be inescapable. I'm in every nook and cranny. It's giving creepy, but whatever. My point being, like, you can become anything in the consciousness soup. Consciousness soup, bro. Ever since it's Mercury retrograde, I need to actually practice speaking. Like, girl, is it being chronically inside and chronically online, or is it Mercury retrograde? Anyways, understand this. Nothing in the world is certain. It is always flexible, changing, and miracles can happen at any given time. You can always become more of, more like, or the exact same as anything and trait, object, element in the consciousness soup that includes abundance and happiness, that includes alleviation from suffering, that includes peace and freedom. Nothing is ever certain and fixed in the universe. Nothing. Besides resin pyramids from 2020, that shit is never going away. That shit is becoming part of, I think when the sun explodes, the rest of the world is going to fly off while the resin pyramids are going to stay right there. Just be like... Anyways, you are never helpless and have the incredible ability and resilience to change and become anything you wish. You can mold your subconscious to make you believe that you are anything, and because of confirmation bias, If you choose to constantly see something, you are making it exist. Whether it existed before or already doesn't matter. It fucking exists. There's no absolute truth in anything. You can make yourself believe and therefore become anything. There is immense power in shaping and choosing a certain self-concept because you will act, feel, think, and experience the world through that lens. The only thing in your way is logic and fear. Happiness is a conscious but necessary choice because you deserve to be happy. You deserve good things and are always deserving of good things, even when you have made a mistake and even when you feel depressed, negative, or undeserving. You constantly deserve goodness. Goodness is accessible to you at any given time. You just have to feel open to it. Things constantly get in the way of your happiness and they're usually learned, notably trauma, right? I feel like every baby is born happy. Somewhere along the line, your ability to believe and experience happiness is dirtied from your experiences and your beliefs. And a long list of adverse events that hurts your ability to trust yourself, live in fearlessness. We were all fearless kids at some point. At some point, there's always been a point in your life, like one thing that you were doing that you weren't conscious of, that you felt really confident in and happy. Adverse things are roadblocks that test you everywhere. It could be a cheating partner, it could be a scandal, it could be lying. I know for a lot of neurodivergent people, it's your autonomy being challenged, it's not being listened to, right? A lot of personality disorders, right, the deep shame that comes with them is that core experience of not being acknowledged for your feelings or being heard or listened to, right? The shame of being yourself turns into personality disorders. All these things take away from your true self, your most authentic self, and that is your happiest self, exactly who you are on the inside, and being fearless about it. You've maintained and built a self-concept based on years of conditioning that make you expect unhappiness. A lot of people, at times I hear people say like, I don't get excited about things now because I know that they won't happen or something will fuck up. Like, I can't enjoy good things in my life because that will get ruined or sabotaged. I can't tell people good things in my life because someone will sabotage it, And this comes from years of conditioning. Like, yes, that may have been true in your past, but it has been instilled. You can always have the power to change them because everything in your environment starts first mentally. And that's not to say that you deserve or attracted those things, but the belief that sets in afterwards is very dangerous. Of course you deserve good fucking things and deserve to be loud about it and deserve to not have them fucked with. I truly believe though that if something isn't meant for you, the universe is going to remove it instantly. But don't internalize that belief that you do not deserve good things, because that is not fucking true. That is not fucking true at all. I'm going to choose the most common thing that affects our mood and happiness. Childhood trauma and expectation. Suppression of your true thoughts and feelings. It affects your ability to just be. Since your childhood, you have built a habit of thinking the world is a certain way, or internalizing the world on yourself, i.e. you are unlikable, I can never be myself, I'll never be good enough, I have to make others happy, I can't ever be my true self. Mixed out with thoughts and feelings like feelings of fear, doubt, anger, and sadness, or simply put, any energy, any strong force of energy. And you have created a thought form, habit, state, or self-concept that keeps you away from your happiness. It is easy to get stuck and believe these states, i.e. loneliness, being misunderstood, being undeserving, having lack of success, sickness, brokenness, feeling stuck or helpless, and feeling like they're forever and inherently who you are. Beliefs that come out of these states, such as things never work out for me, is a belief fueled by years of disappointment, being let down, and not being respected. I'm here to tell you that we are the consciousness soup. You can become anything in here. Trust me, everything. Everything is temporary. The universe and energy is constantly in motion. Do not let it get stuck, right? For example, when you are trying to get in a new self-concept and suddenly your old self, old habits, old mentality starts getting in your way and throws in for a loop. Suddenly, when you're trying to manifest money, you will be given a fine, or manifest friendships that you really click with, right? You're gonna get suddenly be tested a lot in your friendships and a lot of conflicts in your previous ones. Or trying to manifest a special person or a perfect partner, and all of a sudden they're distancing themselves or whatever, what have you. It is easy to reaffirm your old feeling state by feeling stuck in them. Like whenever an adverse event comes your way and feeling, I deserve this, nothing good ever happens to me, it is a test, and fucking ignore it. Fucking ignore it for the life of you and power the fuck through, because you deserve happiness, right? In order to have a feeling state of happiness, you must rely on your own internal safety, sense of autonomy and belonging, and knowing and power, and ignore it. Because if you continue to live your life as you did previously, right, reacting, internalizing these adverse events, taking everything that has happened to you personally and writing that as a description of yourself, right, a bunch of, right, you must remain strong in how you define yourself, okay? Do not get stuck in your old states. Learn to become internally fixed on your own happiness. In traditional Chinese medicine, different elemental systems are adjusted to get more or less of an emotion or physical trait, i.e. excess dampness is the earth element and is associated with heaviness, excess sweat, loose stools, be associated with the emotional states like heaviness, slowness, sluggishness, being excess earth, right? We knew of someone in our practice who was receiving treatments, right? He initially came in because he had too much fire in his body and he was a very angry person. He was very, well, he hit his mom. Like, that's neither here nor there. Like, you shouldn't be hitting your mom. But through balancing some of that fire element, right, it allowed him to be less angry, more in control of his emotions, and eventually he stopped hitting his fucking mom. Like, you know, it aided him into changing his habits. Like, fucking hell. What kind of fuck? Anyways, if you looked at everything logically, you would say that unless he has someone to deeply discipline him or went to intense therapy, he'll be stuck with that habit because it's a habit. Like, that's who he is. But had he not implemented steps to change, he would have been stuck there. Meditation is a fucking playground. In meditation, you can essentially do anything to invoke more or less of something, right? So we do compassion meditations where we acknowledge the Buddha in someone else, right? So say someone is very cynical, but if we do our compassion meditations, right, that's sending the energy and bringing out more compassion, optimism in them, you can essentially hypnotize yourself to become more or less of anything. You can acknowledge the Buddha or God in you to become more compassionate or become more clear-minded. Become anything. Don't let yourself believe that unhappiness is the only way that you will experience life. Everything is interchangeable at any given time. You know, the sun for health and the moon for intuition and healing, or fire for passion. And if you lack leadership properties or that kind of motivation, Mars energy will help you. Like, you can always get more of something. Exaggerate that aspect within you, okay? You can banish air to remove overthinking. You can remove or add anything that is in the way of your happiness or gives you happiness. Okay? The world is a playground and you are never confined to one thing. You can heal and change anything. The possibilities are endless. You can first choose happiness by habits. Everyone fucking knows this, right? Everyone gets that spurt of energy at 4 a.m. where they decide they're going to join a run club and they're going to have an immaculately spotless house and they're going to get a puppy, or quit alcohol, start the gym, whatever it is, you know, stop gooning, stop smoking, stop having so much screen time. And you usually do it for like 1 day, 2 days, a week, but why doesn't it stick, right? They say like it takes 3 weeks to maintain a habit, but you know, I remember like prior to really like emphasizing the fact that I can achieve anything and showing myself, improving to myself, that like changing habits seems so like unbelievable for me. Like how can I can't even do something for 3 weeks straight. Like, you know, it's very, I imagine myself before I believed I could do anything, and I believe like everyone could, that I felt like in a bubble. I was always so clouded by thoughts. Like it felt like there was a huge thick ass blanket over me all the time that stopped me from doing anything at all consistently. Like I was always so shy and shrouded and scared. Like it felt like there were bricks on me. So to believe something was attainable in 3 weeks and not being able to do it, you know, it just prevented me from doing it altogether. Like it just felt so stuck and sad, like in my body. What did I need at the time? Why didn't it stick? Well, in order for me to break a habit or start a habit or do something that results in my happiness, what did I need in that time? Why did I think that good habits were so far from my reach? Because I didn't believe I was that person that could do it first. I didn't see myself as someone who could achieve good habits. Believe it is possible and know that anything can be yours. Refuse to give any more emotion, negative or positive, to a limiting belief. Refuse to give any more emotion and energy into an old feeling state or thought. For example, if you are trying to achieve self-acceptance and freedom and you bombard yourself, if you bombard yourself with negative self-talk, refuse to give it anything more. It has already consumed enough of your time and energy. Cut it off. And you don't have to do it alone. A lot of these things are fucking metaphysical. When you have made a thought form of 20 years of sadness, self-doubt, like constant hearing over and over again that you can't do anything, okay? For me, it was a fucking heavy-ass shrouded blanket that made me feel small within my own body. It also is a lot of incredible help to pray and ask for help from the universe. Even when you can't see an end in sight to a lot of bad shit happening, i.e. 2025. Okay? But that's neither here nor there. I remember crying to the fucking at the beach, right? To nature, and being like, I just want to be happy. Like, I thought about all the things that I could want and ask for. Like, I just wanted happiness. You know, like genuine, true happiness. And the universe will give it to you. Just trust and believe that good things will happen to you. Work through emotional blockages. Many people have a block in their body that restricts them from happiness. Think of shame, resentment, guilt as aggressive aggravators that keep you closed from your true and happiest self. Forgive yourself and process all these emotions that you have. Experience them in your body without labeling them, giving them judgment, or internalizing them. It is best practice to do this with a therapist, i.e. for heavy trauma, or someone that you really trust. Self-administered EMDR is extremely helpful. Tapping and somatic yoga is extremely fucking helpful for connecting with the body and removing these emotional blockages, okay? Allow yourself to feel stuff that you've suppressed for ages, right? Think of your body as a big plumbing system for you to receive goodness and exchange and circulate happiness, right? When it gets stuck, right? Think of like poop, like emotional poop that stops you from feeling happy. You're gonna release it. Knowing that you are endlessly powerful and capable of anything is a fundamental belief that you must get in your head. Circulate your energy and create. Stagnation breeds resentment. Okay, too often I've seen very talented people with envy, and I know that deep down it makes them very sad. I've seen too many fucking talented people comment about how someone's doing something wrong, how they could be doing something better. But it's just, you're just telling yourself that you doubt your own abilities to create the exact same thing or create the things that you want. Like you do not believe in yourself when you envy someone. I don't know why that happens. Like it's usually the very, very bright ass fucking people that doubt themselves, that envy others. I just don't understand it. Right? I mean, I do get it if you feel stuck in yourself and feeling like you can't achieve something is an illusion that stops you from doing what you want, right? It keeps you in suppression, and anything exists in the consciousness soup, right? It's like fucking, it just wants to exist there, so it's gonna do anything to stay awake, alive. Okay, wait. I constantly see very talented people who are victims to envy, right? I see envy as a puppet master that is designed to control you and stop you from doing things that you actually want, right? The emotion of envy is very powerful. I was watching that TikTok from that girl that was like, I'm that envious friend. I'm like, what the fuck? But it's an illusion, and people don't see that, right? They've just got this like thought form of envy gripped to their head, and it looks like a fucking, it honestly looks like a black fucking shroud, right? Because it goes after very powerful people, like very talented. All these people that I've known that are envious are very bright. Like I don't even know where the fuck it comes from. Like it's counting on the fact that you will doubt yourself and you won't go after what you want. So you look at others, right? But it just means stagnation. Like once you circulate, it's just another emotional clog, and it can be eradicated at any given moment. You need to circulate what you put. Everyone wants a piece of you in the best way. Everyone wants to hear you. We are fucking social animals. We want to hear your inputs in life. We want you up. Everyone's put on this earth to teach someone something, or to add to this world in some way. We want to see more of it. Yeah, to envy someone is admit that you don't believe you're capable and that you are lesser than someone. Once you believe and are tapped into like, I can do everything and so can everybody, then you're not really fussed about who's where and what's going on, because like anything is accessible to you at any given time. Why compare yourself to another person? And why envy them? It's pointless. Why not use that energy to believe in yourself? The power of envy is very strong. I watched that TikTok girl, and I initially got very mad because like envy is what made a lot of like me drop my faith and trust in my friends. So I thought like, I'm mad at what it did to our friendships, right? Like I'm mad because I see people as victims to it. I mean, yes, they should take responsibility for how they act, because why is it anyone else's problem that you're envious? Like, boo fucking who? But like, I know. I think the way she put it was like, why can she get everything that I ever wanted? Like, she didn't even have to try to get into law school. Like, it makes you blind to acknowledge people for who they truly are, and it robs you from the ability to experience life as a present, loving person. It's taking away from your joy and your happiness. It's taking away from your own ability to see that within yourself. Yeah, produce something. It clears all the spiritual poop and clogs in your energy system, right? Play to your strengths, okay? I have a lot of earth and fire in my chart. I need to be moving and in the gym and in my body, okay? That's how I get rid of the clogs. That's how I get rid of the poo. Like, I need to be moving, okay? If you're water, you need to be crying. You need to be, like, emoting. You need to be creating emotional art pieces or things that make you feel some kind of way. If you have a lot of air, you need to be fucking riding that shit. You're gonna be writing poetry. You're gonna be creating songs. You know, getting excess air out, farting even. Listen to your body genuinely. Your body will always be telling you what it constantly needs, right? You know, become more in tune with yourself. You know, that's how you get what you want. That's how learning your intuition, that's the road to anything, right? Knowing when things feel off to you, or knowing what it calls and yearns for in diet, what it needs, more or less of sunlight, water, food, whatever, more or less of environment. Listen to that. You know, if you're having trouble with it, you know, make it a conscious effort. When I say happiness is a conscious but necessary choice, you need to choose to do things for yourself. Okay, start listening to parts of your body. Ask different parts of your body what it needs. You know, listen for images, listen for urges, listen for thoughts, parts of your body that experience neglect all the fucking time. Do a body scan, start from your feet and work up to your head, like each body part, like what do you need? But if I do not eat vegetables, like the second I have been away from vegetables for a long time and I eat one, I will feel instantly better. And I don't think it's about the fucking vegetables. I think it's about like choosing what you want and need to eat. Like I think it's about choice and autonomy. It always circles back to that. But like the other day, I felt my stomach tugging me to my laptop to write this episode. Like, bro, you just gotta fucking listen. You gotta listen, you know. You gotta listen to urges when they come. You gotta, I want to say urges, actually, hunches. You gotta listen to hunches when they come, because that is your intuition telling you that you should be doing something. Okay, when something feels right, go for it. Your heart will always point you in the right direction. You know, if you're questioning is it intuition or anxiety, you have lost the ability to listen to yourself. When I'm thinking is it intuition or anxiety, you know, you're usually in contact with someone that makes you doubt yourself, or something in your environment that makes you doubt yourself, whether it's for your job or like a person. You need to work on listening to yourself again. You know, do that practice where you like talk to your body every fucking day and following through with what your body is asking. Get somewhere alone, get somewhere away from your environment or like your stressor, and learn to listen to your fucking thoughts. Do things that tell yourself that you are the most important thing and that build self-esteem. Cut things out of your environment that hurt you. Be yourself. Explore things that you wanted to do as a child and not giving shit about the consequences. Okay? If it makes you happy to dance on the street naked, do it. Yeah? Like, if that is genuinely what you think you need, makes you happy, do it at night. Do it in a nude beach. Taking care of yourself and buying the things that you want, and, you know, small little acts and thoughts make you feel good about yourself. You know, this may be obvious for some people, but for a person who's shrouded and, you know, inherently believes they're not deserving of good things, you know, they're gonna ignore these tiny little cues and desires that they really want. Honestly, purchasing items that I have been thinking about for like 3 years straight, when I finally buy them, it makes me feel so happy. Like a water flosser, I'm generally thinking about, it's actually so good. Like, I don't care if it's blasting my gums to high heavens, I feel so happy. I feel like I'm actually irrigating the back of my throat, because I like do it to my tonsils. I feel like I'm cleaning the bacteria off my tonsils. I don't know if it's like real or fake, but I see that as your first line of infection. So I'm like every fucking morning. I haven't gotten sick since I've gotten the water flosser. Express the way that you want. Okay, that you truly want, not for anyone else's validation, but for you. Because stop asking other people to validate you. Think of the girl with the lima beans. If you do not eat your lima beans that you love, you're gonna get stripes. Saying no to things and knowing your limits does wonders for your self-esteem. Anytime that you put up with something that is not right for you, you're telling yourself that you don't really care. That I'm gonna not look after my own happiness for the sake of other people. I'm gonna scare you. Okay, that is how you get autoimmune disorders. You know, Gabor Mate says that people with ALS, typically have the same personality traits, is that they always push themselves to be constantly at work, constantly push themselves to be there for other people, are always listening, are always putting on a happy face. You never see them sad or angry, and they're just always showing up time even when it costs them. You know, not to say that one causes the other, but it may be an aggravating factor. You know, you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to prioritize your own well-being, you know, and remove any tensions in the body. Okay. Make a conscious decision to act opposite of the things that hurt you, insisting on being proud of yourself, appreciating goodness instead of self-sabotaging, or eating, drinking, and nourishing where you typically neglect. Okay, that includes when sad shit happens to you. Your automatic knee-jerk reaction is to do something maladaptive. You need to consciously choose to act opposite if you are to change the way that you feel about yourself. Okay? Take risks towards your happiness. Invest in something you have wanted for a long time. Take a solo trip. Do risky things that you believe you need other people for, i.e., moving to different cities, changing jobs, environments, a new look, new routine or gym, or traveling. It redefines the value you have assigned yourself to the most important, most valuable, highly sought after thing in your life. And it's genuinely how you feel. You feel that thing for yourself. Okay? Be aware of the things in your environment that make you unhappy and refuse to give them power. Refuse to consume them and be near them. This comes from awareness of yourself. You are intaking things constantly. Be aware of what you consume and how you feel afterwards. If it is a bad habit, affirm, I refuse to give you power. Remove them from your life or limit your exposure to them. Similarly, consume things that nourish and inspire you. Make a conscious effort to instill proudness, happiness, and joy for yourself. You must remember to be proud of yourself, okay? It creates this fucking wall of defense for negativity to enter your life, okay? Because if you're proud of yourself, people's envy, hurt, and anger that they project on you, it doesn't really have an effect on yourself because, like, you have a good sense of yourself, good self-esteem. Why would that mean anything to you, right? The ideal place to be in life is like you are good with or without desire. You don't need to change anything about yourself. So I can hear people's thoughts. Yes, I can. And know what people are feeling about me all the time. You know, when I feel the proudest of myself, that shit has no effect on me. It slides off me like butter. Okay? There's no effect on me whatsoever. It's only when I feel unstable within myself, when I feel insecure, when I feel undeserving of happiness, that I absorb all of it like a sponge. Sometimes Virgos are porous as fuck. Like when you, and it comes from nitpicking yourself, having negative self-talk. Like if we were all just proud of ourselves, heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire place. Race, days, smace, lace yourself with happiness. Okay, moving on. Currently, a habit you may have is experiencing something good, dismiss it, and rush for the next thing. You know, rushing for things, I notice, because I tend to do that a lot. It creates a block for happiness to stay within you. It kind of pushes it away. It makes you close to receiving happiness. You know, take a moment to appreciate where you are. Okay, break the chain and act opposite. Consciously choose to experience good. Be proud, enjoy it. Tell yourself you are good enough and you deserve to enjoy things. You don't need to push for the next thing or be better, you know. Like, consume happiness in all and any forms. Only you know what will truly make you happy. Okay, consume more of it from a place of passion. I know that chakra meditations are the best meditation for me. Okay, there's literally no other meditation that makes me feel as good. Yeah, just experiment. Like, life is a fucking playground. Like, yeah, you know, if you're confined by your environment, which, you know, usually is the source of your unhappiness, explore what makes you fucking happy and stick to it. Consume it in any given opportunity. Okay, choose and consume the things that make you feel good music. Okay, what's the sense in sharing this one and only life with another bummy, sad and lost and lonely life? Okay, you know, put on feel good music, cooking, dancing, podcasts, sunlight hobbies. Yes, whether it is sword fighting poetry, do it. You know, speak happiness into your food. Put intention in everything you do. Okay, if you're struggling, like, you know, think we are the consciousness soup. When I say that, literally everything, there's honestly, like, we're just soup. We are soup. Like, everything you touch is the soup. Everything, we're just connected in one big slosh. Okay, one big slop and wetness. If anything in your environment can change and become more of that thing, right? Because you're all fucking soup stuff. You know, look at your cup of water every day and bring more sunlight and happiness into it and drink it. You know, bless your environment with happiness. You know, your world is a wand. People think, like, you know, we're magical beings, like 24/7. Like, you're doing magic when you breathe. You're doing magic when you choose unhappiness. Like, you're doing magic when you put intention or think. So put magic, you know, like, we're just a fucking playground. Like, we're just fucking about bim bam bush. Depression is a symptom of a poor environment, a sick soul, sick body, but it is a symptom and reaction to one's needs not being met, not a fundamental issue you are bound to and stuck with. Understand that you can always have the power to change and make whatever you want in life. Have blind faith. It is the body's way of screaming. It needs help. Either you need medicine in your environment or change. Your soul, or medicine in your self-concept, change in your self-concept, or your body, like nourishment. Like, if you have been shrouded in this blanket of suppression or tension and trauma, your body will need flow again. You know, this accumulates as many different health issues: chronic pain, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You know, stuck emotions in the body result in liver issues, lung issues, asthma. There is literally no harm in changing a belief. It is only beneficial, even when you don't see any evidence. Understand and acknowledge what you have been through and have compassion for yourself. Forgive yourself. Do you know you are happy and deserve happiness without charge? Do you know you are always deserving of good things? The more years you have lived in unhappiness, it's, you know, the more you deserve to be happy. And it requires a deliberate and conscious choice. I've known a lot of people with personality disorders. You know, the root of their suicidality that comes every week or every couple days and is resistant to antidepressants and treatment. You know, they've tried everything, ECT, but it all comes from this, like, self-hatred and disbelief that they are deserving of any happiness. And shame, like, they are completely disgusted with themselves. And you can become addicted to that. You know, your brain becomes very used to these habitual patterns and this self-concept of shame and disgust within yourself that is I'm gonna say it, that's a fucking horrible way to live. That is torturous. You know, no one fucking deserves that. But, you know, that stems from environment as well. Like if you can see all these things that make you believe that you are disgusting and you are deserving of all this shit happening to you, it's gonna be hard for you to break these patterns, but you really need to instill in your brain that you are capable of achieving and changing whatever you wish whenever you want. You know, bad things constantly happening to you is a testament to your power and your belief. Your belief is that bad things constantly happen to me. I'm not deserving of goodness. It's going to accumulate. Really instill it in your brain through all these practices. You know, doing stuff for your self-esteem, your environment, or your soul, or your self-concept, or your body, right? And choose one avenue, anyone, and you can become happy. Like that little motor in you that has become smaller and smaller and smaller from all these adverse experiences can become an engine again, that you will have an internal sense of happiness that generates itself automatically, right? The more that you practice something, the more that you practice your living by your values, put your therapies into place or practices that like build resilience in your brain, build good brain health, gut health connection to your body, that love for yourself, you'll be happy. You know, even if you're a shit person who feels so stuck and believes that they can't change, it's not fucking true. You're always deserving of good things, even if you're a quote unquote a bad person. You can change at any given moment. You can choose differently for your life. First, you have to believe it exists first, and you believe you're deserving of it first. Okay? I hope you guys have been well, and I hope you have an amazing week. Peace, love, ganja. I will see you guys later.